Ito ang Broad Stream Cast Communicators, ang naiba at kakaibang plataforma sa digital broadcast. Mula Luzon, Visayas, Mindanao hanggang sa iba't ibang dako ng mundo. Broad Stream Cast Communicators, ang sandigan ng sambayanan. Mula sa walang labis at walang kulang na pagbabalita, paglilingkod, maglalahad ng mga mapagbuong komentaryo at usaping pambayan para sa kapakanan ng karamihan. Broad Stream Cast Communicators, tuwirang maglilingkod ngayon hanggang sa susunod na henerasyon. Buhay Online, Chikahan at Kaalamang Pangkabuhayan. Ating tunghayan, pakinggan at tuklasin ang mga pangyayari at kaganapan sa mundo ng online. Buhay Online, Chikahan at Kaalamang Pangkabuhayan. Alamin ang pinaka-latest trends mula sa trabaho at kung hanggang saan na ang narating ng teknolohiyang ito. At ngayon, narito na ang ating host, ang ating Techiemommy, si Jaye C. Bautista.
Hello everyone. Happy Friday po. Salamat po at that we all woke up to a new day. We all woke up to a brand new day of faith, hope, and love para sa lahat at sa buong mundo. And thankful po araw-araw na tayo nagigising sa bagong umaga. Just as I always am thankful for all the blessings po, di ba? The gift of life. Diba po, marami pong things to be hopeful for. And of course, yun na po, umiinit na ang panahon kasi malapit ng mag-Holy Week. And of course, nararamdaman na natin ang hudyat ng pagdating ng Holy Week kapag kayan umiinit na. Dito sa Pampanga, well, we still have a little bit of mga cool mornings, pero yun pag magtanghali na, tanghaling tapat, mainit na. So, kaya sige-sige ang ating pag-aircon, wala tayong choice, right? Because napaka-init. But, anyway, ano ba to? Friday, mag-Holy Week. What does Holy Week fall on? I'm sorry kasi I was trying to figure out. Kasi kanina nag-usap kami ng mga kapatid ko. You're trying to reminisce the good old days po na pagka Holy Week, di ba po? Yung mga pamilya dito sa Pilipinas, parang tradition na yan. We visit the churches, right? Nagkaroon kayo ng handaan. So, kami po noon, kasi wala kaming probinsya, palagi kami nakikiprobinsya all throughout our lives, you know. Kasi from Manila po kasi ang parents ko, my mom and dad are from Manila, and even the lola and lola are from Manila. So wala kaming ancestral home or probinsya na bahay. So palagi kaming nakikiprobinsya sa mga resorts, right? That's where we go. We go to Baguio, we go to the beach, we go to mga resorts. Yan palaging ginagawa namin ang family namin. And growing up, yung daddy at mommy namin, kasi ayaw niya lang kami yung nakikipunta o nakikitulog sa mga bahay ng ibang tao. We always used to go on holidays with our kabarkadas, you know. Lahat kami, 6 children, yung mga friends namin kasama sa biyahe namin to Baguio and all. And we were reminiscing trips to Montemar Beach noon, Caliraya, Baguio, sa Batangas, right? You know, those things. And then we would eat bacalao and have ginumis. You know, hindi yan nawawala sa pamilya namin kapag Holy Week, right? And ang Holy Week ay anong pala yan? Sabi ko na nga, it falls on April 9, no, what do you call this? 4, 15, 16, yeah, that's right, 14, 15, 16. Monday, Thursday, Good Friday, 14, 15, 16 din po. So, inaalala namin kasi po, my mom and dad are gone. My dad passed away noong 2020 July. 2 years na itong July. And naalala namin talaga po yung mga trips na yun that we used to make. And of course, pray sa mga bisita de iglesia. And tapos, di ba, nandun kami sa resort. We would watch mga Moses, yung the Bible, all those mga Catholic na palabas about Jesus, tsaka yung sa Bernadette, yung miracle, we would watch those things. And then, pag Sunday, Easter Sunday, meron kaming Easter egg hunt, right? Tapos, and my dad would hide the mga eggs. Tapos, meron corresponding pera yung kulay ng egg. All of those, so much fun growing up, really. We were blessed to have such good parents and generous parents, loving parents, who raised us, in the faith also, Catholic naman po akong lumaki, pero ngayon Christian ako, but, that goes without saying, but we believe in God, right? And we were, hindi naman masyadong religious yung family ko, but, nagsisimba kami, pag Sunday, tsaka, we were raised to show compassion and love for other people and to care, and tsaka generous talaga yung magulang namin. So, Holy Week, palaging special yan sa amin because yan, ang out of town. So, pinag-usapan nga yung mga family ko sa Manila, they're going to Punta Fuego, and my ate, they're just gonna be working, staying home, pero my brother and my younger sister, yung dalawang bunso namin, and their families will go to Punta Fuego. Ako naman po, siyempre, sa Pampanga, tinatry ko ni keep yung tradition by trying to think where we would go. Maraming resorts dito sa Pampanga. So, or isip kami ni Cel del Coro, yung pinsan ng aking fiancé. Kung saan kami makakapunta dalhin yung mga titas, right? And of course, kaming family. So anyway, so what do we have in our plate today? Okay, isa-isahin po natin muna, of course, what's happening, all right? First of all, okay, let's talk about, of course, yung COVID cases. The Philippines records 442 new cases of COVID-19 na lang. Okay, 400 na lang, di ba? Paliit ng paliit, right? The Department of Health, or the DOH, yesterday reported 442 new infections of COVID-19 with a slight decrease in active cases at 44,573 na lang. With this, total confirmed infections are now 3,675,821. Total recoveries, meanwhile, reached 3,572,477. Di ba? Ang taas. While deaths sit at 58,771. Okay? This data was taken through the COVID-19 tracker on the DOH's website, which will also eventually be updated on a weekly basis. Kaya nga, because of technology, we are able to monitor itong mga nangyayari na ito sa ating bansa at around the world, yung mga COVID cases na ma-monitor natin yan. Okay? The agency previously halted its daily COVID-19 report and transitioned into a weekly report. In the DOH's latest weekly report, a total of 3,572 infections, or an average of 510 per day, of COVID-19 were recorded by the Department of Health from March 14 to 20. Okay? Health Secretary Francisco Duque III said that the transition to weekly reporting is meant to boost the confidence of the public under the new normal. Tuloy. Pero di ba, gumaganda na yung situation, di ba? Ano ba itong nangyari sa akin? Wait a minute, alright? I don't know what's happening to my monitor. Yung monitor ko itong Facebook, parang ayaw. Okay. Anyway, so as I was saying, I think nanghihingi ng kapalit itong telepono ko. Ayan, that's the only thing I can think of, really. But there you go, right? So, yeah. So, welcome everyone po to the show, right? So, yun po yung latest dun sa tungkol sa coronavirus sa Philippines. 400 plus na lang, right? Paliit ng paliit. Thank you. Tsaka yun na nga. Alert level 1 tayo. Close to Normal, alright? Okay? On the other hand naman, sa pagtatrabaho naman po, okay? Kasi meron na tayong return to site order, di ba? For the most part, for the past 2 years, companies all over the world, within the Philippines po, hindi po 100% yung mga pumapasok sa office, di ba po? Some work from home and some hybrid working. But a back to office order for the business process outsourcing sector takes effect this week. Ibig sabihin yung mga BPO po, yung mga call center po na have been enjoying working from home, tinatawag na po silang bumalik sa trabaho. This is unsettling many businesses and employees who want to keep the status quo of hybrid work. I think dapat gawin na lang na yan sa discretion niya ng kumpanya. Nasa sa kumpanya na dapat, hindi na dapat i-dictate ng gobyerno na kailangan 100% papasok sa opisina. Kasi nga, people have realized, okay, based on studies and research or tests, na yung hybrid work, combination ng bahay at saka office, works. Okay, some are now thinking of quitting their job tuloy if they will be forced to report to the office. Okay, so yan ang ano dyan, yan ang concern dyan. So merong return to work order. So marami yung ngayon magre-resign kasi it works well na kasi yung ganyan right? So sana, right? Sana mag-maintain or i-allow ng ating gobyerno na ang iba ay hybrid working. Whatever works for the company sana, di ba? Na efficient kasi sila naman yung may negosyo Dapat i-consider. Alright? Alright, ayan. Okay. Hello there, Cesar Montana. Thank you for joining us. Ang pangalan niyo, Cesar Montana. Kulang na lang yung last letter. Artista na. But anyway, welcome, okay? On the other hand naman po, okay? Tingnan natin tong yung mga eskwelahan tungkol sa pag-aaral ng mga bata, right? Like we said, we know that some schools already started face-to-face classes. Yung mga public school po na iba sa Metro Manila, nag-umpisa na sila ng face-to-face classes. And more schools, 14,000 more schools, are ready and prepared for face-to-face, okay? Early registration sa public schools po ay nagsimula today. Sinimula na po ang pagre-register sa eskwela today po, no? Dito lang natin yung situation ng ang cute-cute tignan. Let me just show you yung eskwelahan, ha? Itong mga, especially mga elementary or kindergarten, tingnan natin. Okay? Let me just hold on. Okay. Gusto ko lang pakita sa inyo. Pasensya na, kukunin ko lang yung graphic. Okay. Ito ay cute. Just wanna show you. Alright. Ito, ganito yung, nag-upisa na kasi yung ibang eskwela ng face-to-face. Oops, sorry. There you go. Ayan, tingnan nyo. Okay? Ayan, tingnan nyo yung mga bata, ang cute. Alright, okay. So, early registration po ang sinasabing mangyayari today. Alright, as of today, naghanda na sa pagbabalik eskwela. Alright? Sisimula na sa March 25. Ba't wala akong video? Ganon. Sa Facebook ko, ano nangyari? It doesn't want to show my video. Anyway, naghanda na sa pagbabalik eskwela. Sisimulan na today, March 25, ang early registration ng mga learners sa public schools for the school year 2022-2023. This is the announcement made by the Department of Education or DepEd yesterday, March 24. According to the DepEd, tatagal hanggang April 30 ang registration para sa iba't ibang entry-level learners, lalo na ang mga nagpapatala para sa kindergarten, primary level, grade 1, junior high school, grade 7, at senior high school, grade 11. Okay? So, ang cute naman ng itsura na itong eskwela. Hindi hikayat din ng DepEd ang mga private schools na magsagawa ng early registration sa mga petsang nabanggit. Ang early registration para sa iba't ibang learning modalities ay maaaring gawin ng face-to-face sa mga lugar na mababa ang alert level status. As what is stated in the DepEd Memorandum 17 series of 2002. According to the DepEd, in the context of the prevailing COVID-19 public health emergency, the conduct of early registration shall be done remotely in areas under alert levels 3 to 5. In-person registration through parents or guardians may be allowed in areas under alert level 1 to 2, provided physical distancing and health and safety protocols are strictly observed. Samantala, ang mga learners naman sa grades 2 hanggang 6 and 8 hanggang 10 to 12 ay hindi kailangan sumabay sa early registration dahil automatically na silang rehistrado. Ganun pala. Registered na yung mga grade 2. Bakit ang skip? Hanggang 6, 8, hanggang 10 at 12. Wow. Bakit ganun? Right? Hello. Thank you for the hearts. I don't see your names. Thank you so much for joining me today. Alright? Okay. Tapos ano pa? Okay. In connection to that, alright, DepEd calls for a preservation of linguistic diversity. Hi there, Jake. Hello there, Jake. Nice to see you. Good morning to you, Jake Elizar. Good morning. Parang matagal na kitang hindi nakita. But I missed you and thank you so much for joining me today. So, ang DepEd po calls for preservation of linguistic diversity. Anong ibig sabihin, okay? The Department of Education, or DepEd, called for increased awareness in the preservation of linguistic diversity in the 2022 International Mother Language Day celebration, okay? The celebration aimed to start a conversation among teachers, learners, and other education stakeholders on the progress being made in mother tongue-based multilingual education. Wow! Mother tongue-based, ang dami-daming dialect, so iba-ibang klaseng aral yan ng iba-ibang dialect. Parang ang gulo yata. Okay? It's a mother tongue-based multilingual education and its growing understanding of its importance, particularly in early schooling and commitments to its development in public life. The goal of mother tongue-based multilingual education, or MTBMLE, is to produce learners who are multiliterate, multilingual, and multicultural. Pero parang madugong aral to Kung ano yung lengguwahe mo or dialect, ganun yung learning. Paano yun? Kung yung pag-transition na nga lang ng face-to-face lesson materials to online, madugo. Ano pa kaya yung i-translate mo sa ibang lengguwahe? Paano kaya yun? Learning in our mother tongue is crucial in enhancing other skills such as critical thinking, skills to learn a second language, and literacy skills. Itong sinabi ni Education Secretary Leonor Briones, spearheaded by the International Cooperation Office, or ICO, in cooperation with the Office of the Undersecretary for Curriculum of Instructions. The virtual celebration showcased video messages, testaments, and advocacy materials through a series of posts on DepEd Philippines and DepEd Eco Facebook pages. Okay, Undersecretary for Curriculum and Instruction Diosdado San Antonio noted the importance of increasing advancement in vernacular language teaching to understand the importance of mother tongue basic education. Okay, multilingual development occurs because of various influences in the digital, volatile, uncertain, complex, ambiguous, diverse world when dialects and languages are endangered. We continue to propagate MTBMLE in the schools by creating and using instructional materials on the different languages in teaching to sustain preservation efforts and suspend them from extinction. Yun pala, para ma-preserve daw yung paggamit ng iba't ibang dialect. Okay? Alright. Okay. Alright. Okay, on another note naman, okay, sa pag-aaral pa rin, ito naman around the world, anong nangyari, alright, yung mga Afghan girls po were ordered home after schools reopened sa Taliban to, no? A class of their own, Afghan girls in face mask listened to their teacher while attending class after school, okay? Na nag-open briefly, okay? The Taliban ordered girls' secondary schools in Afghanistan to shut on Wednesday, just hours after they reopened. Kabubukas lang pinasara na. An official confirmed, sparking confusion and heartbreak over the policy reversal by the hardline Islamist group. Yes, it's true. Taliban spokesman Inamullah Samangani told agency France Press, or AFP, when asked to confirm reports that girls had been ordered to go home. He would not immediately explain the reasoning, while Education Ministry spokesman Aziz Ahmad Rayan said, "We are not allowed to comment on this." So, nagbukas po yung mga eskwela sa Afghanistan, tapos sinara ulit, pinauwi. Hindi natin pa alam kung bakit. He would not immediately explain the reasoning, while Education Ministry spokesman Aziz Arain said they are not allowed to comment. An AFP team was filming at Zanghona High School in the capital, Kabul, when a teacher entered and said, "Sorry, class is over, uwi na kayo." So yung mga estudyante nalungkot, back at school for the first time since the Taliban seized power last August, tearfully packed up their belongings and filed out. "I see my students crying and reluctant to leave classes," sabi ni Palwasha, a teacher at Omra Khan Girls' School in Kabul. "It's very painful to see our students crying." United Nations envoy Deborah Lyons called reports of the closure disturbing. If true, what could possibly be the reason? Hindi naman nila sinabi, sinara na lang nila. Kabubukas lang ng eskwela, wala nung nagkagera doon. Kaagad namang nagsara. When the Taliban took over, schools were closed because of the coronavirus pandemic, but only boys and younger girls were allowed to resume classes last October. There were fears the Taliban would shut down all formal education for girls, as they did during their first stint in power from 1996 to 2001. The international community has made the right to education for all a sticking point in negotiations over aid and recognition of the new Taliban regime, with several nations and organizations offering to pay the teachers. On Wednesday, yung order po for the girls' secondary schools to resume appeared to only be patchily observed, with reports emerging from some parts of the country, including the Taliban's spiritual heartland of Kandahar, that classes would restart next month instead. But several did reopen in the capital and elsewhere, including Herat and Panjshir, temporarily at least. The Education Ministry said reopening the schools was always a government objective and the Taliban were not bowing to international pressure. "We are doing it as part of our responsibility to provide education and other facilities to our students." The Taliban had insisted they wanted to ensure that schools for girls between 12 and 19 were segregated and would operate according to Islamic principles. The Taliban have imposed a slew of restrictions on women, effectively banning them from many government jobs, policing what they wear, and preventing them from traveling outside of the cities alone. They have also detained several women's rights activists. Even if schools reopen fully, barriers to girls returning to education remain, with many families suspicious of the Taliban and reluctant to allow their daughters outside. Ay, nakakatakot. Ay, bakit yung mga babae, di ba? Parang ayaw silang paaralin. Ayun talaga. That's the latest on education naman sa Afghanistan. Okay? All right. So, what? Okay. This coming Earth Hour 2022 po. Earth Hour is coming, and it encourages Filipinos to vote for the environment's future. Earth Hour will be 26th of March, which is tomorrow, at 8:30 p.m. Okay? This coming Earth Hour celebration highlights the need to be decisive for the coming national elections. Anong koneksyon? Filipinos must choose leaders who will actively respond to the dual challenge of climate change and biodiversity loss in the next 6 years. The Worldwide Fund for Nature Philippines, or WWF.ph, Shape Our Future, the Countdown to Earth Hour 2022 Virtual Roundtable. Teka, salita ko ng salita, nakaharang pa rin sa akin pala itong early registration. Okay, alright. Okay, yung Earth Hour, gusto nyo makita? Okay, hold on a second. Ito yan, Earth Hour. Let me just grab it. Let me just grab it. Oops. Okay, let me just do it and show you. Para maingganyo naman kayo tungkol sa ating Mother Earth. Alright. Bear with me, please. Konting pasensya. Welcome, friends and relatives and supporters to the show. Thank you very much for always being supportive of all the shows here po sa Broad Stream Cast Communicators po. We truly appreciate your patronage. Tuloy-tuloy po lang ito sama at tulungan niyo po kaming mag-spread pa more ng information at kaalaman by liking our our YouTube channel of Broad Stream Cast Communicators Inc. and liking it and subscribing it and also sharing it. Di ba po? Alright, ito Earth Hour. Okay. This is what I'm talking about. Okay, there you go. Earth Hour is on the 26th of March at 8:30 p.m. Okay. What's happening at Earth Hour? I'm on the wrong page. Okay. Filipinos must choose leaders who will actively respond to the dual challenge of climate change and biodiversity loss in the next 6 years, okay? The Worldwide Fund for Nature Philippines, or WWAFPH, excuse me, Shape Our Future, the Countdown to Earth Hour 2022 virtual roundtable discussion, is happening on March 26, which is bukas na po yan. 7:30 p.m. to 8:30 p.m. We'll talk about the environmental issues that the next set of leaders of the country should focus on, okay? The yearly global switching off of lights. We will be observed from 8:30 p.m. to 9:30 p.m. po. Papatay po tayo ng ilaw sa buong Pilipinas. Over 150 countries around the world will also follow suit as part of this one-of-a-kind global grassroots movement para sa nature. Millions of people participate every year in Earth Hour, regardless of nationality or religion, making a true movement of humanity for the environment. Talaga naman po pag ganyan mga cause, dapat lang tayo pong magkaisa-isa. Okay? Discussions about the loss of nature and climate change, diba, as defining issues for the country will be led by Earth Hour Philippines National Director Attorney Angela Consuelo Ibay, with panelists from wwf.ph Child Ambassador Sia Vigor, wwf.ph or -PH National Youth Council member and ASEAN Youth Advocates founder Myra Spanon, the Green Thumb Coalition convener JB Garganera 10. NOTS Director of Sustainability Mariglo Larit, and Rodel Cabigal, President of United Legion Agricultural Workers for Sustainable Development. With the theme Shape Our Future, the environmental movement aims to be a platform to encourage and mobilize collective action for the environment by educating and inspiring everyone, especially government leaders, to act for nature and climate and preservation, diba? Earth Hour 2022 movement takes the opportunity to educate and empower Filipino voters to #change the ending for the Philippines by highlighting the issues in biodiversity conservation and climate change, and raise these issues with people seeking office in the coming elections, along with the aim to encourage people to switch off in solidarity with the planet. The Earth Hour 2022 also serves as a call to action to make every individual realize their role in shaping a new future for the people and the planet by making small steps towards building a sustainable lifestyle. All right. Well, as urging the government and large-scale companies to help build a fairer, nature positive, and net zero carbon feature. Yun na nga, yung carbon emission po, gusto nating mabawasan, no? So, ayan po, ang tungkol sa Earth Hour. Alright? Okay, so moving right along, ano pa nangyari dito sa aking phone? Ayaw pa din siyang gumana ng mahusay. Let me just, because I cannot see anyone. What's happened? Oh, naka-wifi naman ako. What's wrong? All of a sudden, ayaw mo naman magpunta sa, never mind, to cellphone ko, okay? So, now we go to foreign news and technology. Ito, breakthrough. Let's talk about breakthroughs, okay, in technology. Kasi amazing talagang technology. Okay, tama na itong Earth Hour. Of course, people are free. Feel free, please, to call us, okay, and call us or suggest some resource people or materials or guestings dito would that be welcome, as long as, of course, it has something to do with technology and lifestyle and resource people regarding advancements in technology. We welcome that, okay? So, ayaw talaga itong aking cellphone, never mind. Hold on, okay? So, I was saying, okay, ito yung latest breakthrough dyan. A brain implant enables completely locked-in man to communicate again. Wow, diba? Let's see what it's about. Kita niyo ba yan? A pair of brain microchips could one day allow those in pseudocomas to communicate whatever they want. A new breakthrough suggests. Yan na nga ba, di ba? Hindi na malayo mangyari yan. Nilalagyan ng microchip, ng computer chip sa utak. Di ba? Para ma-activate. At yan, kaya nga, sabi nila yung mga brain nasa coma, pseudocomas, to communicate whatever they want. A new breakthrough suggests. In a first, okay, ito yung nangyari po to as a first, a 34-year-old patient who lacked even the most subtle of muscle twitches has used the technology to share a few precious words with his family using little more than an intent to move his eyes. Oh my God. So nangyari na nga. My goodness. Diba, by eye contact, nakakapagsalita. Ano ba yan? Alamin pa natin kung paano. Alright? Okay? Similar devices have previously given patients with a fast-progressing condition, amyotrophic lateral sclerosis, or ALS, the means to send simple messages with extremely limited movements. But researchers say the severity of the man's condition here represents a significant advancement for the technology, okay? So, di ba, pag nakalagay yung microchip siguro sa brain mo, i-dictate mo lang through your brain kung anong gusto mong gawin or sabihin. Tapos mangyayari, something like that. Similar devices have previously given patients with a fast-progressing condition, amyotrophic lateral sclerosis, that means to send simple messages with extremely limited movements. But researchers say the severity of the man's condition here represents a significant advancement for the technology. To our knowledge, ours is the first study to achieve communication by someone who has no remaining voluntary movement, and hence for whom the BCI is now the sole means of communication, says neuroscientist Jonas Zimmerman from the Weiss Center in Switzerland. A pseudocoma is also known as a locked-in syndrome. Ano yun? Because while the patients cannot walk or talk, they are still very much conscious, okay? So capture of seeing, hearing, tasting, smelling, thinking, and feeling. Okay. Without the ability kasi to move the mouth or the tongue, however, communication is severely limited. Talaga, when you can't move your mouth, much less your tongue, of course, hindi ka makasalita. If the eyes can still move, patients can sometimes blink or point with their pupils to make themselves understood. But in some advanced cases, even that basic form of communication is out of reach. The man in this case was one such patient, okay? Within months of diagnosis with the condition, he had already lost the ability to walk and talk, okay? To walk and talk. That's a little bit hard, right? So he was, months ago, he was diagnosed with a condition and already lost his ability to walk and talk. A year later, okay, the patient was placed on a ventilator to help him breathe. A year after that, he lost the ability to fix his gaze. Katakot. The extreme isolation ultimately led the patient and his family to agree to a cutting-edge experiment. Okay. All right. Before the patient lost the ability to move his eyes, he consented to a surgical procedure that would implant 2 microchips into the part of his brain that controls muscle movement. Okay. Let's hope that this works, right? Kasi diba, he consented to a surgical procedure that would implant 2 microchips into the part of his brain that controls muscle movement. Scary. Ako nga ito, nagpapalit ako ng knee. Ninenervous na ako. Ano pa kayo parang mapalitan yung utak? Oh my God, that's scarier. Each chip, okay, lalagyan ko ng 2 microchip. Each chip was equipped with 64 needle-like electrodes, which could pick up on his conscious attempts to move. That brain activity was then sent to compute with translated the impulses into a yes or no signal. In the past, similar brain implants have allowed some patients with ALS to communicate via a computer typing program. But this is the first time an ALS patient without the ability to so much as use their eyes had been able to do something similar. People have really doubted whether this was even feasible. Mariska Bantinsil, a brain-computer interface researcher who was not involved in the study, told Science. The experimental setup of the brain implants was the biofeedback device and the spelling programs. Okay, this is what they wanted to, to talk about the experimental setup of the brain implants. Okay, itong imagine po, lalagay itong implant na to sa brain para yung mata na lang po ang magre-react to it para maintindihan. The technique took months of training, but once the patient learned how to control the firing rates of his brain signals, kasi yan ang kalaban mo yan, yung impulse from the brain, right? He was able to respond to a spelling program, wow, and select specific letters spoken out loud by the program to form words and even sentences. Wow, that's a great job. And to think, my cousin has been this way for a while, right? Each letter the patient heard took about a minute for the patient to respond to, making for slow progress, but nonetheless. So yun, pagka nagbasa ng sulat, it will take about a minute or 2 to respond, making for slow progress. Pero progress pa rin yun, right? Kahit na mabagal ba eh. For the first time in a long time, the device allowed this man to express himself. The accuracy of the technology is still not perfect. The patient could only say yes or no about 80% of the time, with about 80% anxiety, 80% accuracy, okay? Some days, he could only generate words, not sentences, okay? Pero di ba, nauutusan na from the brain ng implant. These apparent poor performances are primarily due to the complete auditory nature of these systems, which are intrinsically slower than a system based on visual feedback. So, mas mabilis. Kasi diretso from the brain yung impulses, no? The first phrase the ALS patient successfully spelled out was a thank you to the lead neurobiologist on this case, Niels Berbomer. Then came a slew of requests for his care like mom, head massage, and I would like to listen to the album by Tool, a band love. Then, 247 days after the surgical procedure, the patient gave his verdict on the device. And he said, boys, it works effortlessly. Diba? Ang gandang balita. Pero yun, lalagyan ng microchip sa brain para sa mga hindi makamove, mga paralyzed, pwede sila mag-utos through the impulse. On day 251, he sent a message to his kid, I love my cool son. He then asked his child to watch a Disney film with him. On day 462, the patient expressed that his biggest wish is a new bed and that the next day he could go with his loved ones to a barbecue. If someone is forming sentences like this, I would say it is positive. Even if it is not positive, it is not negative. Okay? One time when I was there, he said, "Thank you for everything, sister," to his sister who helps care for him. It was an emotional moment. The ability for someone in a pseudo-coma to communicate obviously comes with a whole slew of ethical considerations. After all, who condones the initial insertion? And once a person has learned to communicate again, can they speak for themselves in the future of their care? How accurate do these systems need to be before we can adequately interpret what parents are telling us? We don't have rules or outlines for this type of technology quite yet, but if the device turns out to be useful for a lot of patients, we will need to start confronting these issues. Okay? So ayan po, no? Ang cool, right? It is AI implant. It enables completely locked-in man to communicate. So yung na-paralyze or na-aksidente yan, ay nagsalita. Muli. Very good. That's very good news and breakthrough, right? On the other hand naman, let's talk about behaviors nitong pandemic, okay? Mga findings, okay? Let's talk about that. Kasi alam nating lahat that at some point, lalo na yung mga estudyante nag-aaral in countries, that they're forced to stay home and study online, there is a cause for depression. But also, okay, there's an AI here. Oops, sorry. Extension na. Ano ba yan? AI confirms the obvious. The pandemic bumped people out or naapektuhan ng mga emotional at psychological situation ng mga tao. Okay? Mood is a unique way for researchers to try to measure the impact of natural or unnatural disasters on people. Okay? So it's simply impractical to ask every single person in the world how they're feeling. Diba? Ako, natanong ko yun sa mga estudyante ko. The past 2 years of the pandemic, paano naapektuhan ang buhay nyo? But of course, hindi natin pwede yung tanong sa lahat ng buong katauhan, right? Well, scientists from the Massachusetts Institute of Technology, or ang MIT, one of the top IT universities in the world, the Chinese Academy of Sciences, and the Max Planck Institute for Human Development found a workaround kung paano natin ito malalaman, yung mga feelings or emotions ng tao itong pandemic or sa mga crisis na ito. They used machine learning techniques to scan social media for sentiment shifts following the first wave of COVID-19 in 100 different countries and used it to get real-time reads on how happy or sad, okay, the events related to the pandemic made people across the world. So, ang ginawa nila yun, nag-conduct sila ng test, no? Nag-collaborate itong MIT, ng Chinese Academy of Sciences, at saka Max Planck Institute for Human Development. Okay? Kumuha sila from 100 countries at ginamit nila itong get real-time reads on their social media accounts on how happy or sad the events related to the pandemic, excuse me, ano ba yung nagwawalis? Made people across the world. Okay? Think of the process as an AI-powered mood ring, but for millions of people. Okay? Their findings were published last week sa Journal for Nature Human Behavior. Okay? Unsurprisingly, okay, yung mga researchers found out that the onset of the pandemic precipitated a dramatic drop sa happiness ng mga tao. Bakit hindi naman talaga? Meron pa talaga mga iba na depressed, di ba? To put that plunge into perspective, consider that on a normal week, people tend to feel the most happy pagka weekend. Tsaka least happy daw yung mga tao kapag Mondays. Bakit? The drop in happiness at the start of the pandemic, around March 2020 po yan, was 4 to 5 times greater than the average dip in happiness from a normal weekend to Monday. Ayun na nga, may difference talaga ang weekend to Monday nung bago magpandemya. The overall change in mood due to the pandemic is greater than the mood shift previously observed in response to a natural disaster like a hurricane or an earthquake or a sharp rise sa mga temperatura. The countries that saw the biggest drops in mood, ito based on the test of 100 countries. Ang mga country, ang mga bansa that showed the biggest drops sa mood, sa happiness were Australia, Spain, the United Kingdom, Colombia, whereas Bahrain, Botswana, Greece, Oman, and Tunisia appeared to be the least affected by the pandemic, according to the researchers of social media observations. So how did the machines learn to rate posts by mood? Paano na analyze to ng mga machine or AI bang gumawa nito? For this study, okay, the team used social media data and analytics pala, okay? The team used social media data from Twitter and Weibo, collected by the Harvard Center for Geographic Analysis GeoTweet Archive, and the MIT Sustainable Urbanization Lab. Ang galing talaga, no? Technology. Matalino na itong mga MIT na to. In total, their data set contains 654 million geotagged posts from 10.56 million individuals during the first 5 months of the COVID-19 upsurge noong 2020. Wow! 650 million posts ang mga sa mga social media channels. To teach a machine to measure mood, the researchers started by creating a sentiment index, much like a face pain scale at the doctor's office. This sentiment index goes from 0, very unhappy, to 100, very happy. Every single post the team gathered from Twitter and Weibo was judged on this index. Yung parang thumbs up, thumbs down. So, very happy or unhappy face. Then, researchers can aggregate the post-specific emotions into a sentiment profile for an individual, a neighborhood, a city, or a country. So, doon nila binibase, no? Tinatali nila yung very happy at very unhappy. Unlike the face pain scale, so parang individuals don't rate their own posts or answer surveys on how happy they feel. Instead, researchers used a machine learning method to assign each post a topic, okay, and a sentiment rating. Okay, paano yun? Una, yun ang ginawa nila. Gumamit sila ng machine, a machine learning method to assign each post a topic, okay, and a sentiment rating. Whether it's smiley or a frown. Then they used a machine learning based natural language processing technique called the BERT, or bidirectional encoder representations from transformers, to classify the posts by topic and by sentiment. BERT was developed by engineers at Google. Wow, galing talaga. Kasi nga, di ba, related, no? Sa news natin masabihin na ang AI or artificial intelligence is already being used everywhere now. Okay? We wanted to do this global study to compare different countries because they were hit by the pandemic at different times and they have different cultures, different political systems, and different healthcare systems. Ito ang sinabi ni Siki Zheng, a professor at MIT. All of these factors could play into how people's mood were influenced by the pandemic, okay? Because they wanted to do a multi-language analysis, they couldn't use their previous dictionary-based approach kasi nga, which they used noong 2019 study to quantify the emotional toll of air pollution sa China, okay? The dictionary approach assumes that, kunyari, words have connotations associated with a particular mood. Totoo naman, di ba? Words naman talaga can show emotion, di ba? It draws from tools like LIWC, or the Linguistic Inquiry and Word Count Software, and emoji dictionaries. Okay? The downside to this approach is that yung mga researchers na kinailangan nila to compile an extensive list of words, and they need to make a different list for every language that they want to look at. So maganda talaga na binase nila ang pagtatali ng analytics na yan based on posts, di ba? Sa mga social media platforms. The advantage of using machine learning is that it is not language specific. Before applying this technique to the entire sample, Researchers trained it on a small sample of posts and had human researchers check its work by having it predict sentiments on random posts. Lahat po yan, di ba? Doon na nila ginigage sa type ng post ng mga tao eh. Di ba? Yung emotion nakikita sa post. And comparing its accuracy rates against the dictionary model. This paper on COVID-19 or research related social media responses as one of the outcomes from a long-term project na ginawa nila called Global Sentiment. Itong Global Sentiment Project po aimed to use natural language processing techniques to extract information on subjective well-being from social media posts. Yan nga po, di ba? Talaga, ang ginagamit naman po talaga para pag-analyze niyan are the analytics, di ba? Yung mga geometrics, okay? Itong Zeng's lab is using the social media mood analysis to examine the responses tungkol sa iba't ibang mga events, including wildfires, yung mga natural calamities, environmental hazards, natural disasters, and new policies. It is a way to provide a unique angle, a different dimension for quantifying the impact of mga calamities, pero it's proving to be effective, okay? So, yan po, ang ano dyan, ang AI po, it confirms, because we used AI, ginamit na yung AI sa pag-conduct nitong research na to, it confirms na yung pandemya po, naka-apekto ng mood ng mga tao. Talaga naman po eh. Nakikita naman natin yan sa behavior ng mga nag-aaral at nagtatrabaho. Alright? Okay. Next up, alright. Ito po, Holy Week po. Ano ba nagka-fall ang Holy Week? April 15, I think. Like I said kanina. So anyway, of course, I'd like to welcome questions po. Paki-text lang po your questions or email me regarding suggestions on resource materials or resource people or issues that you want to talk about regarding technology and how we use it to improve our lives and live our lives, especially in this pandemic. Okay? All right. Tungkol naman sa travel, di ba? Sinabi natin, bumilis na ba yung mga pagkukuha ng appointment? Well, the DFA Acting Assistant Secretary Christian De Jesus said that DFA says yung influx po ng walk-in applicants, okay, due to misinformation by recruiters, okay? Teka, tanggalin ko lang ito. Anong nangyayari sa DFA? What's happening is, sorry. All right. The Department of Foreign Affairs, anong nangyayari? Sabi nila po, yung mga walk-in applicants due to misinformation by mga recruiters kasi tsaka yung mga fake na nagre-recruit. The Department of Foreign Affairs has called out some recruitment agencies that were found to have urged applicants to line up and stay overnight at its Parañaque office to process their travel documents. Hindi naman dapat yung i-encourage matulog doon. DFA Acting Assistant Secretary Christian De Jesus said this was revealed during the department's preliminary investigation on the sudden influx. Bigla na lang dumami yung mga walk-in applicants sa Oceana office dyan sa Parañaque. Inalapit dyan sa Soler. Dati lagi ko nadadaanan. Several recruitment agencies had disseminated misinformation among their applicants regarding the department's walk-in policy. According to accounts of applicants, their recruitment agencies urged them to line up and stay overnight sa DFA. Di parang naulit lang yun nung araw. I remember nung bata pa ako, pag pumipila sa US Embassy, madaling araw pa lang or the night before, nakapila na sila. So, ganyan ang nangyayari ngayon sa DFA, right? Kasi sinabi ng mga recruiter nila, pwede nilang gawin yun. De Jesus also said that other applicant agencies even instructed them late at night to proceed to the Asiana office immediately. Dumiretso na sila doon sa opisina. DFA considers the behavior of certain recruitment agencies highly irresponsible at malicious at mali pong information binibigay niyo sa mga aplikante niyo, kawawa naman. Not only for disregarding the DFA's announced limits for walk-in applicants and attempting to monopolize DFA's walk-in services to the detriment of other eligible applicants, but also for disregarding the welfare of our OFWs whom they ought to protect by putting them out on the streets in the middle of the night. So, hindi po totoo yan na pwede na lang kayo basta mag-walk-in sa DFA para mag-apply ng passport. De Jesus said among the agencies reported, ito po yung mga reported na agency na mali po yung information. Silver Skill Recruitment Incorporated, First Select International Manpower Services, at ang JAS Empire International Promotion Corporation. Huwag nyo nang padala yung mga aplikante nyo ng at utusang mag-walk-in dahil kailangan pa rin silang mag-appointment. Walk-in applicants for apostille services was temporarily suspended at the DFA Asiana on Wednesday, March 23, as long lines of applicants formed as early as Tuesday night after the department announced it will begin accommodating walk-ins for said services. Kasi ang in-announce po lang naman, certain fields of lang po ang pwedeng mag-walk-in sa apostille. The DFA already said that it will only accept 300 walk-in applicants for passport courtesy lane and another 300 walk-in applicants for authentication of apostille services. Okay? So yan po ang totoo doon. Hindi lahat pwede mag-walk-in. Okay? Hindi lahat. Okay? Okay, may nagtanong ano daw yung apostille services. Okay? Apostille service is, okay, kala ko apostolic eh. It's a legal certification that makes a document from one country valid in another, okay? Provided that both are signatories to the 1961 Hague Convention abolishing the requirement for legalization for foreign public documents, okay? Kunyari ang okay, so ang apostille is a noun. It's a legal certification. So, yun lang po ang mga pwedeng pumila, mag-walk-in. Tsaka, of course, yung mga OFW, I think. So, on that note po, okay, that's our last item of the day sa DFA. So, please, it's not true that you can walk in lang in DFA and ask to renew your passport or mag-apply ng passport. You still have to secure an appointment before you go there. So, don't believe yung mga recruiter nyo na nagsasabi na pwede na kayo mag-walk-in doon at ma-accommodate kayo because kawawa lang kayo, lalo na especially when they're trying to tell you to go there madaling araw or the night before at matulog na kayo doon. Not safe po. Alright? So, yan ang latest from regarding the DFA. Alright? Okay, so, yung another note ulit, short note lang, yung DF, pinapasabi na, ang DepEd creates committees to campaign against graft and corruption, okay? Recognizing the graft and corruption are major obstacles to the realization of the right of all Filipinos to access quality basic education. Kasi nagkakaroon din corruption talaga sa academe. Gumawa sila nag-create sila ng campaign against graft and corruption. Okay, the AAC is the department's response to curb this problem and devote a culture of zero tolerance against graft and corruption in the department. Diba yung pagsusecure ng supplies? Yan, ninanakaw, diba? Yung mga budget dyan sa education. See? In DepEd Order Number 7, 2022, the department has stepped up its campaign against graft and corruption through expanding the DepEd COACC and its counterparts in the RO and SDO level and providing the composition and respective functions for each governance. So the AACC shall perform a twofold function: prevent graft and corruption in the department through policies, programs, and advocacy campaigns and ensure that erring officials and employees are held accountable. Magandang balita yan. Before this, DepEd also issued Office Order 000-SEC 2021-029 for the creation of an ACC in the central office following an agreement with PACC. Okay? All right. In support of the Project Kasangga, Action Laban sa Korupsyon, project of the Presidential Anti-Corruption Commission, DepEd adopted the principle that a public office is a public trust which promotes public accountability and curbing corruption. And on this note, I'd like to end today's episode. Maraming salamat po sa mga sumama sa atin today. At kita-kita po tayo sa Monday na balik. Alright? So at the end of the day po, huwag kalimutan, stay hope and love. Thank you very much. Have a good weekend. Enjoy your weekend po. Keep safe.
Inyong natunghayan at napakinggan ang mga makabagong pamamaraan sa mundo ng online sa pamamagitan pa rin ng Broad Stream Cast Communicators.